welcome to this next customer interview. I have Toby Woodiwiss with Woodiwiss Painting in Northern California. What's up, Toby? Thanks for joining me right now.
Hey man, thanks. Love to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you and your engagement in the program. We met at another event, one of our another coaching company you work with. Dear friends of ours brought me there. We got to meet, and it was awesome. So thanks for joining us. It's been about 9 months now. So let's could you just walk us through before STG, what life was like before bringing us on, why you chose us, and kind of what's happened since, both for you and the business and the team with your primarily residential painting company. So let's go ahead and just open that up for me, Toby.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on, Ryan. So before STG, we had a company that was growing. I had been trained in sales, but I didn't really have a system built out. We had something that was working pretty good, but I wanted something that was great. And I knew that was the next big growth area for my team, that we needed to grow in sales to be able to help produce what we needed to produce and give the team what they need, right? Be able to sell jobs at a higher price point, higher margin, giving the teams more time to really crush it for our customers. So in order to give great customer service, you've got to have enough money to give that, right? So that was kind of our idea. I met you at our winter summit for BTA, and we talked, and I really liked what you had to say. And so, really excited. Started it in January, and it's a bit of work. It's a program. A lot of guys will promise, oh, do this, it'll solve everything. You got to work it, man. Any good program you got to work at. But I went through it with my team, and it was good. There's a couple really cool nuggets in the very beginning that helped us with some questions on how to screen out some customers we shouldn't be meeting with. I really liked what Ryan said about it's our job to make sure we're only meeting with qualified customers. So I think that a big change is that we're screening more instead of meeting with everybody. And then I think the other part is that, before we valued those maybes, now we don't. It's a yes or a no. A maybe's terrible, right? So I even coached a team. I'm like, hey, a no is better than a maybe. A maybe will steal an hour of your time every week for the next 6 months, and you're going to keep beating your head against the wall. Don't waste your time on that. Go after people that want to buy from you. So during it was great. Went through it with my team. Afterwards, it was, I would say it was invaluable, because with COVID happening, kind of as we finished the program, it was a challenge, because all of a sudden it's like, what do we do? Without having gone through this training and walked through this with my team, it would have been, I believe that through COVID and after, I would have focused completely on sales. I would have been consumed by sales that would have taken all of my time. Because we had the program already in place, and we had already gone through it, it allowed us to look at every area of the company during the 6-week shutdown. I mean, I've never had this happen before, but we literally couldn't paint houses for 6 weeks. And then after that, it was really slow going. Getting started, we had jobs booked, but to sell was, people were a little bit challenged to buy. And so it allowed me to dial in our production, our marketing, our office. Basically we're on the boat, throwing everything off the boat that was heavy, going, hey man, if we're gonna get through this storm, we're gonna do it real light. And so I would say a significant amount of my time would have been sucked into sales that wasn't, because we had this foundation.
Yeah, that's great. So it gave you a system, and I mentioned before the call, you're mentioning like a foundation of sales that you didn't quite have. It was good, but you wanted something great. This solved that. It gave you a really solid foundation, and you mentioned multiple times before the call, you just felt like you became a better manager and a better coach, and because you felt like the system propped up your team to give you more confidence versus going to rescue them. And then your time is then spent on other areas of the business, which turned out to be very valuable going into COVID with the shutdown. And and you're even up this year, even compared to last year, and you've been in business for a little while now. even in the COVID situation. You want to speak to that a little bit and how that's been a relief for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the numbers here, and we had a good year last year. We grew, I think, 20% over the year before. But I'm looking at my numbers, and we are ahead in our sales numbers. We're ahead this year, even with COVID over last year, which that 6 weeks, it's pretty critical in the Bay Area market. March and April are good times to be ramping up, and we were not ramping up. I'm looking at the numbers, and I think it was about $250,000 that we sold the year before in those kind of 4 key weeks of April, and this year we had 0. So it really helped us through. But I think the big thing is it helped me to become a better sales manager. Instead of seeing myself as the sales expert, seeing myself as the coach, allowing my team to learn in sales appointments instead of me jumping in trying to rescue them, letting them figure it out and learn and become great salespeople on their own.
Yeah, and so that's great. And so numbers wise are up, and then your deal sizes have gone up, and you're selling more value, having more margin to give better service, making it through COVID despite all the crazy situations going on. And California is even more of a challenging state with all the regulations they put on, and it's just one of those things. And so sounds like it's been good. A couple more questions for you. So
yeah.
Great. Give us like one big success story or like nugget of a story of how the training program gave someone an aha moment or a light bulb. And they're like, man, this is it. Like it's working. Like I'm a believer now. And then I want to hear I have a couple more questions after that. Do you have any stories that come to mind?
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many little micro ones. And for me, I'd rather have one big, huge breakthrough, little micros, right? Because they're so helpful. So there's so many small things that helped with. It's like, we had the skeleton, the frame, and this put the meat on the bones, right? So let's see. I think one of the ones I can think of was one of my senior sales guy. He asked a customer, what their budget was and whether we wanted to spend a little more. And they were taken aback a little bit by the question, but it helped to prime them to pay more on the appointment. It started them thinking, well, wait a minute, you guys are worth more, tell me how. So instead of looking at it a price to a price, was saying, well, wait a minute, you guys, it got them thinking and prep them that we were gonna be more money. And to see how, it's easy to say we're more and why, right? It's easy to say we're more money than the competitors, but to be able to give that why and have that customer prep for it was huge. So but if, there is literally hundreds of those little micro things where I've been on ride-alongs with my salespeople, and they're just like, oh man, this is awesome. I love those little breakthroughs. They're so cool. And it's fun to see them grow and becoming excellent at their job.
That's great. So let's talk about the outlook now of the future of Woodiwiss Painting. Sales leader, owner, have more capacity and margin, and got a sales system you can rely on. Salespeople buying into it that you can rely on and that are only getting better. Tell me about the future, despite COVID, kind of looking out into the future. What does the future of Woodiwiss look like with this in place? Like, kind of tell me what's next, recruiting and growth and just more of the same. Just give me some of your optimistic outlook now that you have this.
Oh, dude. I could not be more optimistic. And it's funny because today is like the worst day. It looks like the apocalypse is happening outside, but man, I have so much hope for what we're going to do. I've got solid salespeople that have fundamentals they know. It's actually kind of come to this new role we're creating as a marketing coordinator, somebody to basically answer our phones and manage all of our marketing, to be able to give our salespeople better leads and more consistent throughout the year. So having the breakthrough in the sales, knowing, hey, we can have consistent sales that we can rely on, has helped me then look beyond sales to production and going, hey, what's the hardest part of the year? What's our big breakthrough? What's the one thing that we could change? And I saw that the one thing that we could change in production is that ramp up. We go from we have gone from 30,000 a month or 30,000 a week of production to 80,000 during the year. That ramp up time is a killer. It's about 3 months. It's brutal. Producing at a high level is not hard. It's just that ramp up, the hiring, the training, all that. Through knowing I can rely on my salespeople, that they can sell that value, we actually have a program putting together with this new role that we'll be able to change that ramp up from 50,000 gap to a 20,000 gap. So we're gonna, instead of growing our peak season, we're gonna grow the slow seasons, right? We've already done a couple things that have helped to do that. So it's been a huge breakthrough in sales, that because I wasn't so focused in the weeds on sales, I could see this huge production and marketing opportunity, that instead of just, whipping the team to go harder, that we actually make their job easier and make more money.
That's good. I love that.
Yeah.
It's good growth. 2 more questions. What do you think makes the STG program different than others? So you might have consumed, been around other seminars, maybe about other programs. And then what would you say to a prospective painting company or any contractor, residential, commercial? What do you think you would say to them, just to kind of encourage them or warn them, or, what would you say to them prior to buying for it to work? So what makes us different? And then what would you say to somebody before they buy to make sure it works?
Well, yeah. So I think the difference is to be honest, I don't know a whole lot of other sales programs. I've had some trainings. I've been coached by outside, but what I really like about STG is that the videos are really easy to use. It's pretty intuitive. It's pretty simple. I'm not getting any pushback from my team on it, so I like that. But I also really appreciate the coaching calls every week that continued sharpening the skill, or sharpening the sword. It's not just do the program and see you guys later. It's this ongoing level of support every week that your team can be in that sales call and be coached as the sales manager. I can be coached in the coaching calls on Thursday or once a month. There's a high level of support I think you don't get with other programs that I haven't seen. The one thing I would say that you have to do is what I was told by one of my buddies from BTA. Hey. Oh, buddy, I'm sorry.
Sorry, she's not feeling well, and Lindsay had to run an errand, so we're gonna finish this out with Channing today. So sorry about that, Toby.
No, it's good. I love seeing your kids, man. They're cute. So back to this. So I talked to one of my buddies from BTA, and he told me, if you do it, you got to be involved in the training. And I really appreciate that input. I think it was key. I think if I would have rolled this out with me not being highly involved, or having somebody that can make all the decisions around this, it would not have worked well. So I think it works as good as you, the owner or the sales leader, is willing to go through it with your team.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. So the ongoing support beyond just the quality of the training, but just the sharpening. And I'm glad that you see the value in that. That's the game changer, right? It's the application. Outlook's bright. You got new recruits you can put into a system you can rely on. Your current team members are getting better, screening leads better, selling more value. All good things. Not just one magic wand, right? It's a lot of micro breakthroughs, which I appreciate you embracing the thoroughness of what we put together. So, thanks again, Toby. I know the outlook's bright. We have years ahead of just iterating and optimizing and growth, and excited to hear that just you guys have had some great success in a short time. So you're up in spite of COVID, sales managing better, everyone's improving, and the future's bright. So thanks again, Toby. And again, thanks for doing the work, which that's key.
Yeah.
You got to do the work. You do the work, you get the results, right?
That's right. Nothing comes free and easy, right?
Right. Absolutely. Well, you're earning it. And I'm glad to hear it. And we just try to make it happen faster, right? Like, you're going to do it regardless, but
yep.
It's just we propel you and accelerate that process rather than you having to figure it out on your own or spend a lot of money having somebody come to your office and do it for you. You do it yourself, but we propel you, right?
Well, I've learned with everything, if the owner or the decision maker is not involved in it at least a high level, it just doesn't happen, right? Change in any organization only happens from within. It doesn't happen without. You can come and help us, but you can't make the change happen. We got to do it.
Yeah.
But I like one of the things I love the most is all the little nuggets along the way. There's never a coaching call that the guys are on, or the Joanna and Ben. So not guys, guy and the girl. There's never been a call they're not on that they don't take something away from.
It's good.
So it's every single week that call, there's something good they took away that they learned. And it's great because it gives them the incentive to keep coming back. Every single training we did, everyone was valuable. Everyone we did, there was something we took out of it. So yeah, it's like, it's not one huge breakthrough one day. It's a bunch of little breakthroughs that lead to a huge change in your game.
So good. Well, thanks again, Toby. Honored to have you as a part of our one of our members, and can't wait for more ahead.
Absolutely. All right, bro.